Bella, you're on the screen. How you doing? Uh, Another gorgeous Monday. Um, I just got back yesterday from Mebane. I want to say Mebane, but it's Mebane, North Carolina, where I went to visit a friend, actually a friend from high school, if you can believe that. Class of 1975, Levittown Memorial. Where's all my folks yet? 4 people in the chat, 2 thumbs up. Sergeant George Ishag, hello. Blondie, hello, hello, hello. Blondie 1025, good to see you guys. 8 people in the chat, 5 thumbs up. Let's get those thumbs up. Alicia B, good afternoon. You know, it's just such another beautiful, beautiful day. And I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to sit out. PDF, Army Mum. Sergeant George, happy birthday to Sergeant George Ishak. I think he's 28 today. True Crime with Shannon. Hey, Sergeant Bill, Nikki Billa, Michelle Lipscomb. Hi, Bill. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Sana Elise Johnson, good to see you. Denise Oles, Sharon Ashman, Sandy Curtis. Look at all these folks coming in. I guess some of you guys are coming in from duty run. Sven Lawson, hello, Bill. Denmark in the house. Good to see Denmark in the house, all you guys. Good to see everyone. So, yeah, I was down in Mebane, North Carolina, and I visited a friend of mine with 7 other friends, and we all were there to more or less, a friend is sort of in crisis, and we went down there to support him. And sad, he lives by himself with his dog, and he lost his legs. He lost both legs a couple of years ago. And his house is all set up for a handicapped guy, and he doesn't really get to leave his house too much. So, Jolene, hello, Jolene, how are you? Good to see all you guys. 46 in the chat, 24 thumbs up. Happy birthday to Sergeant George Ishag. Yeah, my friend, you know, but we felt good to be able to bring a little bit of joy. Lieutenant Pete, good to see you. Andrew DeGroot, good evening, Billy boy. It's afternoon, but thank you for that. Thank you. Aunt BB, Alicia B, 52 in the chat, 27 thumbs up. Yeah, Kelly, greetings, everyone. Sergeant George Ishag, isn't that amazing? 28 years old. I came on the job when I was 28. Came on a little bit later than most. I wasted some time actually after I got out of college. I really wasted some time. I should have went on the police department at a much younger age, but I wasn't committed to it. And then when I went on, I was really committed to the job, and I loved the job. Immediately I loved the job, which is strange that you can go to a job and immediately love it. Martha Miller, thank you. Welcome back. Thank you for Andrew DeGroot. 1807 here in Wales. Sergeant Bill, that is very kind. Sorry to hear your friend is in a sad position. Good. Yeah, it was great that we visited him. You know, when you come, like, you have certain camaraderie in this world, and one of them is where you grew up, you know, and you have that connection. You'll always have that connection, even with people that you don't know that well. If you're from an area, you have that camaraderie, you have that closeness. And we all grew up together in Levittown, and we all played football and baseball and basketball together. So we had that connection, you know. Levittown Memorial High School Panthers, you know, you always be a Panther. And amazing that we can carry that through to being 65 years old and support a friend, you know. Nikki Bella. So guys, I was watching a little bit of Duty Ron's thing today, and I know we were talking about the Kylie Rodney case, and many people are very frustrated about that case, you know. It's been a couple of months old. There's a lot of answers that have not come out yet, and people are dying to know the answers to certain questions. There needs to be one repository. Yeah, Kelly, I was a Panther too, Watervliet, Michigan. Wow. I hope I pronounced that name, Watervliet. I know there's a place up near Albany called Watervliet, and I think that's how it's pronounced. Denise Oles, it's twisted like my vase. Sergeant George Ishak, even Duty Ron believed I was 29. I don't know, for some reason, Sergeant George, I think you told us you were 28 and we're going to turn 29. Maybe we made that mistake. I know you're going to be 28. I hit it right. I hope you do something really for your birthday. I hope someone bakes you your favorite cake. Hope you have the 28 candles around it, and that you have enough wind to blow them all out. That big hippo hurricane holler that they can blow all those candles out, you know, and make a wish. And if you blow all the candles out, hopefully your wish will come true. So guys, getting back to the Kylie Rodney case, I know a lot of you guys were listening to Duty Ron's show and about whether or not a Honda CR-V can start in neutral. And I believe that they said that they did the test on it, and if you had your foot on the brake, the vehicle would start. That became an issue based on the fact that Adventures with Purpose had interviewed that gentleman who's known as the tow truck driver, even though it's not a tow truck, it's sort of a roadside vehicle, who said that the vehicle was in, she said she couldn't start it and the vehicle was in neutral. And then it turned out that, in fact, you can start the car. Well, it's like not a huge, I don't think it's a huge issue. But some of the issues coming out of this case, of course, we all want to know the answers, you know. But do the police have to tell us the answers before the information comes out? JC, good to see you. JC says she has that that song in her, you know, Get Back, actually. Jojo was a man who thought he was a loner, but he knew it wouldn't last. Jojo left his home in Tucson, Arizona, for some California grass. Get back, get back, get back to where you once belonged. I think that came up because someone said they were from Tucson, and right away I think of a song, and Get Back mentions Tucson, Arizona, you know. I remember as a kid I thought that was Tucson, spelled T-U-C-S-O-N, and then the C is silent. It's Tucson, Arizona, right? Gerda Kotsky, hello, Alicia B. Yaya Kelly, get back, Jojo. Get back, Jojo. Your mama's waiting for you. She's wearing her high heel shoes and her low neck sweater. Get back home, Jojo. Liz Mars, hey Bill, so great seeing you. Thank you, Liz. JC, luckily I know the person. They laughed for ages. Good, good, good. It's always good to laugh. Hey, you know something? That was one of the things this weekend. I wasn't drinking at all. I think I had 2 sips of a beer because I'm taking all this medication. It's not smart for me to drink, but all my friends were drinking. So I'm like there just, you know, just having some laughs and stuff, but not really drinking any alcohol. And I like to drink, you know, but if I don't have to drink, you know. And so I just was the one listening and laughing and joking and that type of thing. But again, when you get together as friends, it's always fun. JC, how are you, Bill? It's lovely to finally catch you live. I've missed you. JC, I missed you too. It's good to be back. It's good to be back in me golden and me old. Where's all me friends from across the pond? Where's me Irish? Where's the English? Where's the Wales? Great Britain, you know? They had a rough time with the death of the Queen. But everyone's back. Everything, what goes around comes around. That famous Italian philosopher said, what goes around comes around, right? Jersey Devil, hello Bill Sargent, lovely, yeah, lovely day, isn't it? You see behind me? Drop dead gorgeous, you know, beautiful. So with the Kylie Rodney case again, you know, there were so many missteps by law enforcement, and so much of this story proliferated online and in the on the chats, and you know, the folks doing the content creating. So many things took on a life of their own, took on crazy rumors and stuff. I even saw something yesterday. Someone posted what was purportedly the autopsy report, and I don't believe it really was. And it said that the case is pending. Yeah, well, why would you post something like that? First of all, it's unverified that that's the true document, and of course it's pending. If they haven't released the information to the public, it's pending. So why would you put that out there? I just, you know, I just leave it alone till it officially comes out. So many rumors, and look, some of the rumors, of course. Alicia B, people do many things for attention, of course. Rita, hey y'all. I like that, hey y'all. 96 people in the chat, 52 with the thumbs up. Yeah, so guys, you know, I've been harping on it since the beginning of this case that some of the most important things, Yaya Kelly, I asked myself before I engage in rumor, what would the victim think about the rumors? Absolutely. That's a, what is that? That comes out of the same school. If you don't have something good to say or nice to say, don't say it at all, you know. JC, 56 now. Scotland, Layla McVery. Good to see you, Layla. Layla, what do you do when you get lonely? With no one waiting by your side. You've been hung and hiding much too long. It's just your foolish pride, Layla. And then he does the Layla, that's the unplugged version. You got me on my knees, Layla. I'm begging, darling, please, Layla. Scott Inquirer, words to live by. Begging, darling, please, Layla. Layla. Wasn't Layla George Harrison's wife? And then Eric Clapton somehow married George Harrison's wife. A whole love triangle there that resulted in a great song, right? So again, getting back to Kylie Rodney, I said early on, and I'm still saying, that the results of the interviews are very important. How many people did the police interview? Did detectives interview? What are the results of these interviews? Cross-checking these interviews against other people. You know, the Nevada Sheriff's Office is in charge of this investigation. What are the results? Who did anyone see Kylie Rodney get into her car, into the driver's seat, and pull away? Did anyone see that? Has anyone come up with really pertinent information? Good morning, Layla McVery, Raj and Layla. It's a love story. Great sound from Eric Clapton. You've done it well. Thank you, Layla. You know, there was a girl at my gym. Her name was Kayla, and I could always remember her name because I just associated it with Layla, Kayla. So, yeah, so everyone, of course, is waiting for the method and manner of death, you know, whether it could be what was the mode and manner. Is it going to be ruled a homicide? Is it going to be ruled an accident? What was the cause of death? Was cause and manner, actually, I said it incorrectly. Was it drowning? Or was she dead before she went into the car? That's what everyone is waiting to hear based on the results of the autopsy, which Scout Inquirer, forgive me. So yeah, the NYPD is very thorough with their investigations. A lot of it has to do with also with the process that is set down there. There has to be a way that homicides or just even deaths, suspicious deaths, and all deaths are responded to nationally, not just in the big cities, but everywhere should have the same homicide or death protocol that a medical examiner's office should send investigators to the scene. Those are known as medical legal investigators, and they work for the medical examiner's office, not a coroner. A medical examiner is a pathologist with an MD degree. He's a medical doctor. The medical legal investigators, they have a high level of education also. Many of them are nurse practitioners, which is at least over the level of a master's degree in nursing. And they process the body at the scene after a crime scene unit thoroughly photographs, inspects the scene, inspects the body, and after they're done doing their forensic work, then the medical legal investigators, because they have to disturb the body, and they don't want to disturb it before crime scene does their work. They do that after the crime scene. You saw my notes are blowing all over the place. They do their work after that. One of the things they do is they inspect. Well, the number one thing they do is they take the temperature of the body. That is an indicator of time of death, but not the only indicator, because temperature is actually a poor assessment of time of death. Then they check, of course, for rigor mortis. They check the eyes for petechial hemorrhaging, which is one small sign of possible death by asphyxia. Drowning also, they would check the eyes. The skin, the mouth, the color of the skin, the discoloration of the skin, all those things are done by the medical legal investigator. They also, in New York City, they videotape the scene. Not just still photos, but they videotape the scene so that it can be totally recreated for a jury if necessary, for other people studying the crime scene. Cheryl Schaffner, hi Cheryl, good to see you. 88 in the chat, 67 thumbs up. All you guys coming in a little bit late, good to see everybody. I'm back from Mebane, North Carolina. Spent the weekend there visiting a friend. Denise Olis, my problem with the case is they've damaged evidence even after law enforcement said they had. Denise, you're 100% right. The crime scene, there was a poor job in the processing of this crime scene. A very poor job. The crime scene wasn't protected. The crime scene wasn't processed by the, in its entirety, by the detectives who are responsible for the chain of custody of evidence. Kelly, the NYPD is top shelf in regards to processing crime scenes, 100%. You know, if you ever watch that show, and there's not a great deal of forensic shows or police shows on TV, but one I find that's pretty damn good is the First 48. And that's pretty true to form of how homicides are investigated. And again, I'm not saying that this case is a homicide, but to dispel a lot of rumors, and because there's a lot of people based on mistakes that were made with this case that are never going to be satisfied when this case is finally determined, cause and manner of death. They're not going to be satisfied if the Nevada County Sheriff's Office and the coroner for this county comes back and says that this case is an accident. How many people are going to believe it? How many people you think are going to believe that this was an accident and not a homicide? There's so many, there's so many red flags, I'll say. There's so many areas that people can feel that, well, you're covering this up or you're covering that up, because there were so many mistakes made. The other thing is, I don't think, except for the very beginning of this case, I don't think the police did a very good job of getting out in front of it and getting the information out there to the public. That can dispel a lot of rumors. That can take a lot of heat off them. But early on, it seemed like they did that. As the case moved on, I would love to know who the mystery guy was that couldn't start the car. I'm not really keen with that either. I didn't. A lot of mistakes were made by the police. The number one biggest mistake, right? The Presser Reservoir. Adventures with Purpose wants to start their search there, and they're told by the police, you don't have to search the Presser Reservoir. We cleared it. And what did Adventures with Purpose say? No, we're going to search it anyway. We don't accept that it's cleared unless we clear it. And lo and behold, 35 minutes after they started searching, 45 minutes, they recovered the vehicle and the body. So does that give most people pause? Does that give most people reason to believe that the police screwed this up? Folks, this is Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories, Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill, whatever you want to call it. So glad to be back home. So glad to see all you guys here. It's so nice to just sit here and talk with you guys, and I'm glad we have 104 people in the chat, 75 with the thumbs up. If you're new to this station, please go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to support us, we have a Patreon with 3 different levels. We also have a YouTube with 5 different levels. So yeah, everyone wants to talk about the missteps made in this case. And that does give people pause as to why. Frank Marshall, you're right, there's too many amateur investigators on YouTube. Many of them put out things that really aren't, you know, what is a defense attorney's job? It's to create doubt, right? What is a YouTube content creator's job? To create controversy so they can get more clicks, you know? And I've had some real nasty people come into my chat and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You know something? I'm one of only a few people on YouTube that does know what they're talking about. Many people with even much bigger audiences than I have, they don't know a tenth of what I know, or what Duty Ron knows, or what some other professionals that have channels on here know. So, you know, I'm not gonna, I'm getting into it with them, but I'm just saying a lot of stuff is put out there that that has no basis in any fact. And, you know, a lot of people are interviewed that, you know, I came on the last time and I was talking about Kylie's boyfriend, Jagger Westfall. And he's a young kid, you know, and from the very beginning, he was not listed as a suspect or a person of interest, whatever you want to call him, because it was shown that he wasn't nowhere near the party that night. Yet the content creators on the internet were trying to make him like a suspect. And just recently, I think the police, the Nevada County Sheriff's Office, because it was just going rampant, they on media they said he's not a suspect, he's not a person of interest. They had to do with that just so the kid would stop getting bothered by these nutcases, you know. Yes, you know, evidence has to be held very close to the vest by the police, because if they put stuff out there, that also can taint the case. And if they do need to speak to someone that's a suspect, if everything's already out in the public domain, how can they challenge them with any evidence? They can't, because it's already out in the public domain. So how would they know that this person who's a suspect knows about it because it was published in a newspaper or on the internet? And that's one of the reasons you don't put stuff out there. Denise Olas, I'm sorry I couldn't read your last chat. You said you were part of some murder investigation recently, and the police kept everything close to the vest, as they should. You know, that was part of a homicide investigator's code, or even an investigator's code, was not to release stuff to the public for no reason whatsoever. And that goes for the press too. The press, you know, the NYPD sort of had an open door policy with the press. They were always, what I felt, releasing way too much information to the press, because they wanted to maintain a good relationship with the press. But sometimes the press can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And most of the time they were your worst enemy, because they put stuff out there. This is the only channel I can come to that doesn't have poor, yeah, right, well, right, I don't put out, and Duty Run doesn't put out gossip, you know? And I don't put out unverified information that's just a rumor. many people put out rumors out here, and that's what it builds a life of its own, and it causes a lot of angst for the family and the people left behind, and angst for the friends, and people want to try to outdo each other with false information, you know. Look, some of the biggest things in this case too is like, how did the vehicle get into the reservoir? Did Kylie drive it into the reservoir? It was only 55 feet from the shore. How did the vehicle flip over and wind up on its top? We've had experts describe how that could happen. We had the NYPD dive expert, Dragonfly Lady. Why would the law enforcement not share what they know with the family of? Law enforcement would share what they know with the family to a certain extent, but they wouldn't share everything. They would withhold some stuff back. I think they would let the family know early on, before anyone else, possible cause and manner of death. However, don't you think that the family also talks? So if they start talking to other people and then it gets spread all over the place, again, it becomes like an internet rumor just because the family is talking about it amongst their friends and family, but before you know it, that gets out and it's all over the place, you know. Martha Minor, the son of the sheriff, was seen with Kylie at the party, and kids can make mistakes. Well, as I mentioned earlier, one of the biggest things that I think, and not as many people talk about this, but I am a big proponent of knowing the importance of interview and interrogation. The results of interviews are going to be very important. If a lot of these interviews are not being put out there or being connected to the bigger investigation, could they be trying to protect some people? Were there a lot of people at this party that were related to prominent people in the community? That could be, absolutely could be, you know, but they can't hide the manner and the cause of death, you know. Naomi McFarland, hello from Southern California. Good to see you. 124 in the chat, 85 thumbs up, guys. Great to be back. Coffee with Cannon, backyard beverage, bitchin' with Bill. I'm back from North Carolina. I love doing this show, this early show this during the day. It's so much fun. I get you guys coming in here. Actually, I wish I had a cup of coffee right now. I think Sammy is a pawn for something, Denise Olas. Look, I think Duty Ron had mentioned it on his show, and I had mentioned it once before. They're talking about releasing the results of the autopsy on November 1st. That's not that far away from now. How about the toxicology report? Sherilyn Schaffner, North Carolina, misses you already. Thank you, Sherilyn. It's very kind of you. Friday, hello, Kim Alston. Look at all you guys in the chat. Love our Supreme Commander, Moonlight View. Thank you so much. Very kind of you. So we're all waiting for November 1st for the results of the autopsy. And then, of course, the toxicology in a case like this is extremely important. You know, so many questions. You know, a big question, and I would like to know the answer to this too, is how did Kylie wind up in the very back of that Honda CRV, the 2013 Honda CRV? How did she wind up in the hatch area? Mike Carew, my NYPD master diver expert, said that if she had been driving and her seatbelt was on, she would have stayed in that seat. She would have never have been, unless she physically took the seatbelt off and consciously moved toward the back of the vehicle because maybe there was an air pocket or something like that. But if the vehicle flipped over and she was seatbelted in, and minus her physically taking the seatbelt off, she would have still been in the driver's seat. Interesting, right? So that she would have had consciously taken the seatbelt off and at some point maybe swam toward the back of the car because there was an air bubble. I'm very interested to find out how did that happen, you know. Phil Leo, maybe she didn't put the seatbelt on. That's a possibility. That's totally a possibility. Didn't she indicate to Nick, the roadside guy, that she didn't know how to operate the seatbelt? That'd be a little strange for someone that's 16 not to know how to operate a seatbelt. Whether it's in a car or on an airplane, we all learn from a very young age how to operate a seatbelt, you know. So I would find that to be very, very unusual, you know. Gail Salatori, hello everyone. Moonlight View, Dragonfly Lady, great to see you. 114 in the chat, 93 thumbs up, guys. Great to see Jersey Devil. I don't understand why she would swim past an open window of the car. Would have been decompressing. She could have opened the door. You know, a car that's underneath the water, until it's totally immersed in water, the pressure on the outside doesn't equal the pressure on the inside. And it's there. If you ever watch that demonstration that Adventures with Purpose does, that shows the chaotic nature of being inside a car that flips over under the water and trying to open the door. It's like virtually impossible. I actually bought one of those things that breaks the car window. I bought one too. I was just thinking, how damn scary would that be? And hopefully it would never happen, but you need to have that tool. I think everyone on this earth should have that tool and understand how it works and how to use it, you know. JC, apparently have to let it fill up first for pressure to even out, then open the door button. The park side upside down. That's so right, JC, 100%. And who is thinking clearly as water is over your head and you can't breathe? You're holding your breath. Are you going to think clearly enough that, oh, is the temperature, did the water inside equal the pressure outside, and can I try to, and how about electric locks? How does that work? Can you manually open a door that has electric locks? You know, I don't know. Every single thing on my car is electric, right? Jersey Devil, interesting bit is where to hit the window. I never knew what you have to hit the upper corner of the window. I thought it was the right lower corner from what I listened to. But they said the stress points are in the corners. JC, I'm asthmatic. In that situation, I'd have panicked, but I can hold my breath. Scary, right? Whenever you don't have air, even for the shortest amount of time, it's a scary, scary thing, right? Jersey Devil just said no, the locks would jam. So on an electric vehicle, how the hell are you going to open the doors? They're not going to open, right? Alana, top right corner. Well, look, I'll try all of them. Might be a lower corner, but it is a corner, Jersey Devil. Hello, Sergeant Bill in chat. Great to see you back. Duty Ron, thanks for being here, man. Yeah, it's nice to be back, you know. When you're so used to doing the show and you don't do it for a day or 2 or 3 days, you sort of feel like you're out of the loop a little bit, like you miss it, you know. You miss doing it. And you miss talking to your fans, I'll say it, or subscribers, whatever you want to call it. I like to call you guys fans, but you're also subscribers. Every once in a while someone says, I'm not a fan, I'm a subscriber, or whatever. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Phil Leo, 2017 vehicles and later the door window glass is laminated like the windshield. Even spring-loaded glass brakes aren't going to make it tough. Fremont Pathfinder, hello, how you doing? Yaya Kelly, Sharon Stevenson, but the window is partially open. You know, it's all easy for us to say and look now and say, oh, one window was open, the other was down. You know, in a panic situation, maybe she didn't see it, you know. And how long can most people hold their breath? till you take that big gulp. All it takes is taking that big gulp of water, and that's it. That's you're drowning. You're drowning, you know, and it goes right into your lungs, and you're incapacitated, you know. No problem, Duty Ron. So I got a decent crowd here today. 120 in the chat, 102 with the thumbs up. Yaya Kelly, Jojo, Jolene, we love you at Duty Ron. Duty Ron's even getting love on my channel. Look at this. Sharon Stevenson, that could be so scary for sure. Absolutely. It's easy for us to talk now. Oh, the car flipped over. One of the windows is open. Why didn't she just go out that window? You know, you're in panic mode. Are we all thinking that clearly? Are we all, you know, going to be able to swim out that? PB&J, you have a beautiful day also. Andrew DeGroot, keep up the good work. Bill, thank you, thank you. 126 in the chat, 105 thumbs up, guys. Thank you so much for coming by. JC, I watched those docs where Army recruits are tested in stress conditions in a plane chassis in a swimming pool. It's spun upside down in water. It's dark. They have to get out. Some fail. Here's soldiers being trained how to do that. Yeah, that is part of the training. U.S. Coast Guard rescue swimmer training shows how hard it is to get out of anything capsized underwater, and they do this every day. Exactly. It throws your whole brain. You know, it throws your whole brain out of whack. You don't know up or down, and you know, it's so easy for people sitting in their living room watching this show or any other show to say, oh, why didn't they just swim out the window? Why didn't they break the window? Why didn't they open the door? You know, it's crazy, you know, crazy. Marie Green, good to see you. Hello, Mr. Bill Cannon, Major Live at last. Good to see you, Marie Green. I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Bill, when I said it was 1807 in Wells, I meant time of day. Duty Ron, thank you for the $10 super chat. Supreme Commander, great to see you back, Cannon. Thank you, Duty Ron. Good to be back, you know. Got my EquiSearch Midwest hat on, you know. These stories, you know, we start out with doing these stories. Kylie Rodney, Julissa Fuentes, Eliza Fletcher. And most of these stories have a beginning, a middle, and an ending. And the Eliza Fletcher case, horrible, horrible, right? We know what happened there. She was abducted off the street and she was murdered, you know. And then Julissa Fuentes, she's been missing for over 2 months now. We don't know how that is going to end. Horrible. Alicia B, thank you so much. We need a Supreme Commander merch. Oh, I'm working on it. I'm working on it with Josh. I got to get him to make those Supreme Commander coffee cups. You know, Eliza Fletcher, that was a case that was very bothersome. And of course, Julissa Fuentes. And we still don't know how that case is going to end up. You know, she's missing. The police there believe that it's a criminal case. We can just keep shining a spotlight on it, but we don't have any new information on that. Kylie Rodney, the biggest part of this case was finding the vehicle and finding Kylie. Now we're all waiting for the results of the autopsy, the results of the toxicology, the cause and manner of death. All of these are things that will sort of put people following this case at ease, put them at... Pauline Robson, she needs another coffee cup. You know, Marie Green, Kim, I saw I'm not the only Irish in the village then. There's so many questions we have, and hopefully in the next few weeks we're going to get some answers as to what occurred. I mean, there's been a lot of shows that have have looked into the science of this, you know. Yeah, Kelly, I'm afraid we may never know those results, and California parents don't have to release that info. I don't know if I have any mods, but I'm getting inundated with some porn sites. If anyone in the mods can get rid of these porn site postings on my in my chat, I'd appreciate that. Thank you guys. 120 in the chat, 109. Thank you, Alicia B. 109 with the thumbs up. Guys, this police off the cuff. Coffee with Cannon, backyard beverage, bitchin' with Bill. We're back from Mebane, North Carolina. Good to be with you guys. Lulu Love, we don't need a dating site. No, no, we don't need a dating site, I don't think. Those weren't really dating sites. I think those were more porn sites. Michelle Battersby, I usually just block them and report. Yeah, I was asking one of the moderators to do that. Son Elise Hoth Johnson, Marie Green, Pauline Robb, JC, depends if they're offering free cream cakes. Oh, God. I want this to turn into a, I don't even want to go there. So yeah, with this case, the Kylie Rodney case, as I said, pretty much every case we cover has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And unfortunately, some of them end badly, you know, as do some of the cases that we've covered in the last year, you know. And we always hope for the best and pray for the best, but it doesn't always work out that way. And that's the nature of investigation, that's the nature of policing, that you can't always, you know, have a happy ending. You know, we always want a happy ending, but life doesn't always have a happy ending to it. So, Frank Marie are a bunch of old geezers we don't date anymore. Andrew DeGroot, no, not dating with Bill. No, I don't want to get into that. You know, coffee with Cannon, backyard beverage, bitching with Bill. No, there's no dating site here. But we're having fun, right? Michelle Battersby, such a sad young life lost. I have a 6-year-old granddaughter, and it scares me. Yeah, it doesn't get any worse than this. You know, a 16-year-old girl loses her life. Just totally outrageous, you know. So guys, some of the scientific things we're waiting for, of course, autopsy results, toxicology results, the results of processing that vehicle. The FBI was supposed to forensically process that 2013 Honda CR-V, and processing it included, of course, collecting all the evidence, forensically the black box, which I think they called they called it something differently. The event data recorder, it was called. And that could report a lot of things on the vehicle, how fast it was going before it hit that water, whether it was in neutral drive or whatever gear it was in, you know, a myriad of how fast it was going, the miles per hour. So all of those things, and I know Duty Ron had a guest on from NYPD Auto Crime Division that spoke about what the potentiality of pulling up that information from the event data recorder, because that's electronic and the car was immersed in water. So would that not kill the event data recorder, or as a lot of us like to call it, the black box, like we call on an airplane? An airplane, as Ed Wallace said, it's really not a black box. It's encased in an orange box, and it's designed to survive going into the water, because most of the time when a plane does go down, it's over a body of water. So they, with the event data recorder for a car, they're not convinced that that's going to survive going into the water. But if it does, the detective from Auto Crime said there's about a 40% chance of recovering the data. The other thing the FBI would have to, if they, in fact, they said early on in the investigation They were going to forensically process the vehicle. Now, if they do all of that, they would photograph it and they would invoice all the evidence inside that vehicle. Would that tell us something? Of course, photograph the body. What position was the body in? But don't forget, the car was flipped over. And so the body was not in the initial or the original position that was in when Adventures with Purpose saw it, when they dove down 14 feet to the bottom of the Presser reservoir. So the position of the body was altered. So the FBI would photograph it in the position that it is now. And then, of course, you know, autopsy is so important, and we saw the whole episode with Barbara Butcher, and we were all harping on the fact that water in the lungs would indicate that she was alive when she went into the reservoir. And then Barbara Butcher sort of dispelled that a little bit by saying there's a possibility that water could get into her lungs just for the fact that she was submerged for 2 weeks underneath the water. So a secondary way that a crime scene or pathologist would determine whether she was alive or not would be in her eyes. And there would be something called vitreous fluid in the eyes that would show that she was alive going into the water, and she had swallowed water, and that would indicate that she was alive. But they could do that test through the vitreous fluid in the eyeballs. Not as accurate water in the lungs, because she would have been submerged for 2 weeks, and there was a way that water could get into her lungs, just seeping in for the fact that she was submerged for 2 weeks. There's a lot of scientific tests that have to be there, so we have to wait for the scientific investigation, the interviews, the interrogation, the collection of all evidence. And I know we've all become sullied by the fact that law enforcement made so many mistakes in this case that many of us will not trust the evidence coming back, because we may not trust law enforcement because of the fact that they made so many mistakes early on in this investigation. But look, who else are we going to trust? Who else is going to process this information? You know, Frank Marsha has a feeling that Kylie didn't have a seatbelt on, and he claims that many young people drive without seatbelts. You know, Frank, that's a possibility. When I was younger, of course, wearing a seatbelt wasn't a law. But I wear my seatbelt every single time I get in the car right now. It's one of the first things I do. And if anyone inside my car doesn't have their seatbelt on, I stop and say, put your seatbelt on, right? And usually my wife is the first one to violate that rule, and I have to pull over and say, put your seatbelt on. And it's not even that she doesn't want to put a seatbelt on, it's that she's doing 10 other things which preclude her from putting her seatbelt on. Mostly that involves her phone in some way, you know. Jersey Devil, car doors not move until everyone is belted in. That's right, Jersey Devil. 130 in the chat, 126 thumbs up. Good, thank you guys for coming by today. Marie Green, you can't stay away this long. You have to be a regular. Where have you been? We miss Marie Green, right? Kim Allison, Sergeant Bill, I got told off by a policeman for not having seatbelt on. Well, you should have your seatbelt on. It's going to save your life, you know. So guys, you know, Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill. I know I got to get those mugs made, the Supreme Commander mugs, and I'll... Gabriella Callahan, I would not be alive if I was not wearing my seatbelt in a car accident. Rocky Canine, my car beeps if seatbelts are not on. Me too. And it's annoying as hell, right? Alicia B still like Bitchin' with Bill. You can call it whatever you want, Alicia B. I like that too, but I don't know if it would sell with everybody. Jane Harford, I got to talk to Josh today. I'm going to ask him to make some Supreme Commander mugs for Coffee with Cannon show, you know. Clunk click even on the shortest trips. Schmitty, happy Oktoberfest. Good to see you, Schmitty. Good to see all you guys, you know. It's a little family here, you know. I started doing this backyard show and Coffee with Cannon just as a lark, and it's starting to grow and get a bigger audience. Canadian Cookie, hello. Guys, I'm at 50. Usually I don't go past this. I want to thank everyone for coming by today. I want to say God bless everyone. And, you know, we're going to cover this story as the new facts come out. Rocky Canine, good to see you, buddy. Have a great day, and God bless.